U.S. government just recently seized $15 billion from one company, from one group of people alone in crypto.
Whoa.
It's the craziest thing. So these people are being tortured and beaten, sometimes killed, and forced to scam. So we went actually to Myanmar. We were smuggled into the border, into Myanmar, into the country illegally.
Whoa.
Across the river, and spent time in this town that was basically built by this Chinese gang that was all with the money of.
They say it's Chinese gangs. It's exactly the same history that we saw some days ago in Brazil with some guys who went to Vietnam or Myanmar. It's the same thing. Always Chinese gangs.
Scamming Americans, and they were trying to build like a mini Macau. And the guy that ran the company is called Yatai International, and he took us on a tour of this mini Macau. And it was so surreal. It was like these aqua parks with no one in the aqua park and these luxury casinos. We ended the night, it was so crazy. This guy said he would give us an interview, but first we had to do the tour. And the interview would happen the next day. So we ended the night, and this was actually not filmed, in a karaoke. That was a massive room where every wall and the ceiling was all a screen. It was like the future. And this is in a war-torn area of a country that's incredibly poor, and they've built this place with millions and billions of dollars from profits of scamming. Wow. And we ended the night with this guy, who's basically the head of this criminal Chinese gang running these scams, in this karaoke, singing Celine Dion and Whitney Houston, and being poured whiskey and whatever high-end brand we wanted.
You were getting drunk with him?
Oh, my God, yes. I was singing my heart out. I spent the whole night singing Whitney Houston. The videos are so embarrassing because I cannot sing to save my life. But I was like, we need to get this guy on tape, so I'm just going to do whatever.
Wow.
And then the next day we interviewed him, and it was just fucking crazy. And we ended our last day. I mean, we interviewed a Chinese dude, so sad, like 21-year-old, who was caught trying to escape and was chased out of the building. He ran out of a third floor, broke both his legs, one at the hip, practically died, was actually saved by an onlooker who took him to the hospital and then moved to Thailand where I met him. He was in a wheelchair. Told us about beatings. We spoke to another Indian kid also who was, they had a water hose on his body. He was forced to stand for 24 hours and then electrocuted. And I mean, the videos out of these places were insane, like people with horrific wounds and people dying and killed. And just forced
to scam.
Forced to fucking scam.
Into scamming.
Yeah, forced into scamming. And then we interviewed a girl called Angel, who was raped repeatedly by her bosses, and she's sort of the face model. So a lot of times after speaking to these, what they think are romantic relationships for a long time, they want to see people's faces. So this is the girl that then they put a fake AI face on top of her, but it has to be a girl because of the mannerisms and the voice. And they have this girl who actually speaks English, and she would talk to victims of scams and pretend that she was the wonderful woman that they'd been dating for months. And convince them to put their money into this crypto business that was fake and take millions out of these victims. So this woman starts crying and telling me how she knows she's doing something awful, and how she's raped and how she doesn't want to be doing. And at the end she says, I said yes to doing this, even though it's incredibly dangerous. But I accepted doing this because I just want a message for the victims in America, the people that I've spoken to, that I'm sorry. I just want to apologize for all the harm that I've caused. And she's like in tears, but I have no way out. I mean, these are heart-wrenching stories. And the last day we were there, we were able to, there's this amazing organization called Acts of Mercy, religious-based organization that is working to try to get these people out. And a lot of these bosses actually, if you can pay for ransom, you can pay $10,000 to save a person from there. So because if you're a bad scammer, if you're there and you're horrible and if you're sad and depressed and you're not doing your job, it's better for these bosses if you just get paid $10,000 to let this person go. So there was this case of the Filipino woman who the boss had agreed to a $12,000 payment to release her. But it's really dangerous there's this negotiator that goes and sort of tries to get her out of this compound. But he has to come with the money, and he has to be able to pay the crime boss, but he also has to pay the militias to get him in. So it was like a whole process. And we were with this group, Acts of Mercy and another guy, filming them as they're on the phone negotiating her release. And they're on the phone with her. She's inside the scam center, and she's like, where do I go? This scam center is massive. She had no idea where to go. And they're saying, go to the west gate, and the guy is there waiting for you. She's like, I don't know where to go. And she's crying. If they see me with the phone, because it's a confiscated phone, they're going to beat me, and they're going to put me in the dark room where I'm beaten and, tortured for days. And Amy, the woman on this side, is telling her, believe us. There's somebody waiting for you. Do not be afraid. Bring your phone. We need to be telling you how to get there. It was his whole ordeal.
Oh
it was
my
like
God.
fucking insane. It was out of a movie. And in the end, they didn't manage to get her out. But she was not that day, but she was released a month later, and she made it to safety. But this just to show how dangerous and difficult it is, even when they agree to let them go. And
So what are most of the scams? Are most of the scams romantic?
crypto scams. They're called pig butchering scams.
Pig butchering?
Yeah, that's the name they give them because it's an Chinese expression. It started in China. It started as a domestic scam in China, actually. And yeah, pig butchering because the idea is that you fatten the pig, which is your victim, and then you kill them at the end, right? Which that's why it's called
How
pig
evil.
butchering. But the idea is that you meet somebody online, and it's usually a beautiful girl or man, and you start a relationship with that person.
How do they meet them?
You know those texts that you get a lot of times, like, "Hey, I haven't talked to you in a while."
Yes.
A lot of those are pig butchering scams. A lot of messages you get on Instagram from these beautiful girls or
They're stepping
men.
it up because I got a few iMessages like
Yeah,
that.
me
I
too.
was like, whoa.
Me too.
Not even just a green text
Right.
bubble anymore. They got iPhones
Right.
now.
And then they tell you, follow me on Instagram, and then you go, let's go on WhatsApp. And then they're sending you photos of them in their private jets and living this wonderful life.
Is that what they're doing with you?
Yes.
With your,
in other
your
ways, yeah.
In others, so these scams that
Yeah,
you're
one
responding
of the
to?
one we're trying to get is that. We're getting several different kinds of scams, like Indian call centers and all of the different scams. But eventually they start saying, look, we are living, and so you're curious, like, how are you making so much money? It's like, oh yeah, I've been investing in crypto, and I can't really tell you much about it now. So it can last months. And at some point they're like, okay, I built a
fattening the
relationship,
pig.
yeah? I'm going to tell you how I do it. You've got $5,000 right now, and then you put the $5,000, and then they show profit on these fake websites. It looks completely legitimate, and you're saying, "Oh my God, I put 5,000 and now I have 10. How much more can I put in?" So people are going all in, and they're
boy.
like everything they have, 401ks, they're remortgaging their houses, everything, and then
I can't believe that people really do this. I mean, you never saw the person and you put all your money that you saved your whole life there because you may have a girlfriend or a boyfriend abroad that gave you a tip. Come on, people.
did you hear the case about the guy in Kansas?
No.
The bank
No.
guy, the guy that was the head of this bank in Kansas. Jamie, did you hear about this? It's a fucking fascinating story. It was a story in the New York Times, and then it got reported everywhere. I was trying to get this guy to talk to me because his story is fascinating. So, this guy, amazing member of the community, small town in Kansas. The local bank that was started by the farmers decades ago. It's where all the farm community would put their money, would trust this bank. Well, it turns out that this guy, the head of this bank that everybody trusted, upstanding member of the community, stole millions of dollars from the bank, and the bank went bankrupt. And he was stealing the money because he was being scammed by a pig butchering scam. And it started with him putting his own money. And then they kept on saying that in order to release the funds and all the millions that he'd made from his initial investment, he would put in more and more money. I think he ended up putting in something like
$47
$1
million.
million from
Customer
customers.
accounts to scammers depleting the bank's holdings. When a state banking regulator uncovered this fraud, it closed the bank and called the FBI.
That's not
Whoa.
possible.
He started slow, investing a few $1,000s in 2022 to buy what he thought was cryptocurrency. Oh my goodness.
How sad is that?
Wow.
I mean, awful. Obviously, he was stealing from his customers.
Wow.
But I find it so. He actually traveled to Australia at one point, thinking he was going to meet the people that owed him money. I mean, he actually was completely scammed. And this is like the head of a
banker.
bank.
Yeah.
The head of a fucking bank.
Wow.
It's fucking
No
crazy.
way.
These guys are so good.